Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to the Starcraft 2 Ownage Shack. It's David here bringing you another Starcraft 2 commentary, and today it's going to be a very special commentary. I'm doing my first ever best of 3 series, and it's going to be between DuckloadRa, the red Protoss here at the top right position, and the green Terran mouzNaama here at the bottom left. It's going to be on Xel'Naga Caverns, and let's just talk about the players a bit here. DuckloadRa, formerly known as WhiteRa, changing his name for his sponsor, is actually formerly a member of the mousesports clan that Naama over here is currently a member of. And he's an absolutely insane Protoss player. He is Ukrainian with a 3400 rating on the European ladder, completely off the charts with 1,100 wins. He's 10th on that ladder, and I think he actually had the first spot at 1.2, so he's a complete beast. However, he's going to be playing against mouzNaama, whose nickname is The Beast, and he is a Terran player I've cast before, actually, one of my favorite Terran players. He is from Finland, he's got a 3,200 rating on the European ladder, and he is 59th over there. So we are looking at some extremely good players here, and it's going to be on Xel'Naga Caverns. We don't see anything too strange coming out immediately. We see the normal 12 barracks, 13 refinery, 4 Naama. Looks like this SCV is going to be coming out here to do some scouting. Meanwhile, WhiteRa has decided to place his gateway over here beside the Vespene Geyser. Now you might be wondering why he put that there. This is actually a precautionary method against drops. You see, by putting it here, he's preventing Hellions or some other dropped unit from just swinging around the back here and wreaking havoc on his Protoss mineral line. So by putting his buildings back there, he's essentially making his base drop proof. It's extremely good, and it looks like his pylon is coming out just in time. I thought he was about to be supply blocked there, but nope, not DuckloadRa. He's too good for that. So it's extremely nice to see him do this. He's one of very few people who actually employ this strategy, and I think it's something that everyone should consider because it is so effective. You can see that if a Hellion is dropped off here, there is no way he's getting to the mineral line very easily. It only leaves this entrance here, which I assume will be blocked off by pylons soon enough anyways. Meanwhile, at Naama's base, we have 1 barracks already up, pumped out 2 Marines. He does enjoy getting 2 Marines before he puts on any add-ons onto his barracks. I've noticed that about him. If you watch the DreamHack tournament that Naama won, you can see that play quite often. He's also a fan of the 17 orbital command as opposed to the 16, which is typical by most players. Looks like a bunker is going to be going down right at his choke ramp here. This is just because he's teching up. You can see there's a factory coming out here already. He's a huge fan of tanks, so we might see some of that. Could also be Banshees. The bunker is definitely a good way to go in either of these cases though, because you do sacrifice some early defenses by going for those tech paths. Now we see a robotics facility coming out for DuckloadRa here. We have a Stalker and Zealot at the ramp. The robotics facility is actually quite fast here. We're seeing it right after the first gateway. Sometimes a more common build is a 3-gate robo, but this is actually quite popular nowadays. mouzNaama, of the same clan as Naama over here, is a huge fan of this gate 1 robo play. He gets out a very fast observer, a fast observer rush I suppose is what you would call it, just to get that intel over the Terran base, see exactly what's going on. We do see the 111, and then he can respond accordingly. I've seen Mana transition actually into the High Templar quite frequently after this instead of the Colossi, so maybe we will see DuckloadRa do the same thing. We have another pylon going down here, and it looks like an armory is going to go down for Naama, which is very strange. Usually you don't see an armory this fast, especially against Protoss. It looks like he's going to be either going for mass upgrades, which I don't think is going to be the case considering there are no engineering bays here yet, or a Thor rush, which seems a bit more plausible, and it could actually be quite effective. But the thing is, he's getting out that Immortal. The Immortal will counter the Thor quite well. It does 50 damage, and it can really tank the Thor hammer from the Thor if that's what he's getting out. He still hasn't done anything with this armory yet, actually, so Maybe I am a little bit ahead of myself here. Looks like the observer's going to be coming in though, and he's going to see everything. He sees the bunker, and it looks like he's threatening to scan by taking those Marines out and chasing it away. Very nice play by Naama there. Usually most Terran players will not notice the little warped air in the area, so they don't know that an observer is seeing their every move. But Naama, too good for that, does pull his Marines out of the bunker, getting ready. We see an expansion is now on the way for DuckloadRa. He's going to be defending that with a couple sentries and Immortal, and the Stalker, I believe. The Stalkers are right here, probably just to protect from drops. The Observer has gone in and he's seen the 111 build, I believe. If we look at DuckloadRa, yeah, he's seen the 111 and he's seen the tech lab there. He might be afraid of the Banshee, which is indeed coming, which is why he's placed those Stalkers back here with the Observer, probably afraid of Cloak. Cloak Banshees are, as we all know, quite effective. They probably average about 50 kills per game, especially against Zerg. Huge problem. We see a scan goes down there. Going to be checking out the timing of this expansion and seeing the unit mixture, and he's probably not going to be too happy to see two Immortals coming out. It looks like that Thor is in production now. We see it's right over here. It does do 30 damage per shot, but against the Immortal, that's going to be whittled down to a mere 10 due to these crazy shields, these plasma shields. Very nice, and it makes a very satisfying sound, by the way, when a high damage attack does collide with those shields. Please take note of that. Looks like the Raven is going to be out here. It's almost useless, though, against this very Stalker-light composition. We can see tons of Zealots, tons of Sentries, and only two Stalkers, so the point defense drone is going to be almost useless for this Raven. It looks like WhiteRa has got the better unit composition here, a third Immortal coming out actually, which might be a bit of overkill, but considering there's only one Thor. The Marines do tons of damage versus the Immortal because the shields do not work for shots that do low damage. One Banshee is going to be here. Looks like he's not going to commit to getting the Cloak. Probably a good idea considering that DuckloadRa has that pretty well covered, and it looks like an engagement is going to be coming. Two huge armies are going at it. Tons of SCVs are ready to repair the Thor, but they get blocked out by the nice force fields. A point defense drone does go down, blocking out the Stalker shots, but the Zealots are having a field day with the front lines here. They do quickly evaporate to the Marines, and it looks like Naama is coming out way on top here with this amazing timing push. This Immortal is really all that's left. Three Zealots come in, but are quickly dying to the Marines and the Thor. The Stalkers, and one Sentry, one Immortal, that is all that remains. It stands in the way between Naama and victory here. The expansion is going to be attacked, but the probes are coming off the line. They might get a nice surround on these SCVs too. A tank shows up to the fight. An auto turret is thrown down, which is going to do pretty well versus everything here. A Sentry goes down, a Stalker goes down, some Zealots are here, and a Thor gets picked up. Nice job there, saving some extra damage from being dealt. The Stalker goes down. The Immortal is still alive, but gets a nice surround by the SCVs, and now the Thor is just wreaking havoc on these units. 4 probes and 1 Zealot is the only army he has left. He desperately warps in some more units, and a WhiteRa is now out. This could be pretty potent, considering 1 or 2 Marines are all that's left for anti-air. It looks like this tech to WhiteRa is going to save the day here. It doesn't do the massive damage to massive units quite yet, but it's still going to be pretty awesome. We can see the SCVs are repairing the Thor, but it's only a matter of time before that goes down. No more AA is left in the area. These SCVs are simply wasting their... oh, sorry. Of course, the Thor does damage to air units. We can see the broken repair is really making itself useful here. It does do very minimal damage, only 6 damage against armored units like the WhiteRa. He's going to need another to finally take out that Thor, and he does have it, but I don't know how much he's lost at this point. Looks like DuckloadRa is so far behind. He's 2,000 minerals behind Naama in terms of units lost, and it might just be a miracle here to actually hold on. With the SCVs repairing this Thor, despite its minimal damage, it still does enough to do damage to that WhiteRa. We can see it's already at half of the HP. All its shields are gone. The Nexus is now being targeted by the SCVs. A siege tank in the back is working on the Zealots, but since the nerf is not too effective, we can see it's actually diverting its fire against the Immortal, which is not what you want to do. But hey, when you have this much of an advantage, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. We have 2 WhiteRas out. Looks like this one's going to be waiting for its shields to recover before it does anything. Might try and snipe out the tank, but don't come out against the Thor. It does do splash damage against air units, and it looks like he might just be going for the main. No, he's actually going to pull back here. One of the anti-air shots goes off from the Thor, taking out a WhiteRa! Huge mistake by DuckloadRa, sending it in there. Gets sniped out by the massive range there of 10 by the Thor, and the other one goes down too! All of the WhiteRas have been cleared out, but another one comes out. It is too late, however, after the Nexus goes down. DuckloadRa GG's out of the game. So an extremely interesting game there, with a bunch of random tech switches that did pay off until that Thor was being repaired. Very nice timing push by Naama here. I don't think there was one decisive moment that determined the outcome of this game, but I feel that the SCVs repairing that Thor was simply too much for DuckloadRa to handle. He was not prepared. He needed, I feel, maybe a bit more zealots. Forget the stalkers altogether. They don't do much versus the point defense drone. So he was on top of that, but simply the timing was too much, I feel. Maybe it would have been wiser to not expand and instead invest those minerals into more zealots and target fire those SCVs. Who knows? I sure don't. It was an awesome game though. Hope you enjoyed it. Please stay tuned for the next one.